Welcome to London, England. Ahead of us is the north bank of the River Thames, and beyond it, the City of London, the ancient financial heart of the capital, where Roman walls and glass towers stand within a few hundred meters of each other. And here on our right is Tower Bridge, arguably the most recognizable landmark in London, and one that stops people mid-stride every single time. Completed in 1894, it took 8 years and the labor of over 400 workers to build. We're going to make our way along the riverfront here and then cross Tower Bridge on foot, so you'll get a proper look at it from the outside before we walk across it ourselves. The path we're walking along is Queen's Walk, a pedestrian promenade that runs along the south bank of the Thames. It's a rare part of London where you can slow down, watch the river traffic go by, and get a sense of the scale of the city around you. For centuries, this stretch of the South Bank was one of the busiest commercial waterfronts in the world. Warehouses and wharves handling so much of the city's incoming provisions that the area became known as the Larder of London. The Thames has been the reason London exists at all. Every empire, every era of the city's history, the Romans, the medieval merchants, the Victorian industrialists, all of it ran through this river. At its widest point through the city, the Thames stretches to around 270 metres across. It's tidal this far inland, which means twice a day the water level rises and falls by as much as 7 metres. Enough to expose the riverbed along the banks, where people still come to search for historical artefacts washed up by the current. What you're walking on now would have been unrecognisable before the 1980s. Derelict dock buildings, abandoned warehouses, and closed-off industrial land. The regeneration of this riverfront from that decade onwards transformed it into one of the most visited stretches of public space in Europe. Tower Bridge, which we'll begin crossing soon, is a bascule bridge, meaning the two halves of the road deck can be raised to allow tall vessels through. It still opens today around 800 times a year, and the whole operation takes less than 2 minutes from start to finish. If you're planning a visit to this part of London, there's enough here to fill an entire day without crossing the river. The Tower Bridge exhibition, HMS Belfast, Hayes Galleria, and the Riverside Food and Drink along Queen's Walk are all within a few minutes' walk of each other. HMS Belfast is a Second World War cruiser that played a role in the D-Day landings in Normandy in 1944. You may have noticed it moored on the river at the beginning of the tour. It's now a floating museum run by the Imperial War Museum, and you can explore 9 decks, including the engine rooms, gun turrets, and the captain's bridge. We're now going to make our way up to Tower Bridge. It's one of those landmarks that's hard to fully appreciate from a distance. Up close, the scale of it is something else entirely. And you start to get a sense of just how much engineering went into something that was also designed to look beautiful. Despite how it looks, Tower Bridge is not a medieval structure. It's a Victorian one, completed in 1894. The Gothic towers were deliberately designed to complement the Tower of London next door, but underneath all that decorative stonework is a steel frame. The Victorians wanted it to look like it had always been here. What makes Tower Bridge genuinely remarkable as an engineering achievement is the mechanism that raises it. The two halves of the road deck each weighing around 1,000 tons, are so precisely counterbalanced that they can be raised to an angle of 86 degrees in under 90 seconds. The whole operation is controlled today from a single cabin using a joystick. From here, you get one of the best unobstructed views of the Thames in either direction, upstream towards London Bridge and downstream past HMS Belfast towards the city. It's a view that hasn't fundamentally changed in its proportions for centuries, even if almost everything on the skyline has. Tower Bridge provoked strong opinions the moment it was built. Contemporary critics called it structurally dishonest, a modern steel frame dressed up in Gothic stonework purely for appearances. One architecture critic described it as a horrible mixture of ironwork and Gothic masonry. The public, however, disagreed entirely, and it became an icon almost immediately. Moving down the river towards us is a Thames RIB Experience speedboat, one of the high-speed tour operators that run on the river. An RIB is a rigid inflatable boat, and the ones on the Thames are powered by twin-turbo V8 engines producing 740 horsepower. It's a very different way to see London, considerably faster and wetter than walking. We've now reached one of the towers where visitors can access the Tower Bridge exhibition. The high-level walkways, the glass floors, and the original Victorian engine rooms below. You can walk the full length of the high-level walkway, 42 meters above the river, and look straight down through the glass at the traffic and the water beneath your feet. Down in the engine rooms, a painted route called the Blue Line guides visitors past the original Victorian machinery, the boilers, pumps and accumulators that powered the bridge for over 80 years. Bronze plaques along the way commemorate the stokers and engineers who worked there, most of whose names were never recorded anywhere else. For most of its working life, the engine rooms needed a resident cat to keep the rodent population under control. The role was even given an official title, Cat Manager. Speaking of pets, Tower Bridge also happens to be London's only major indoor heritage attraction that's fully dog-friendly. Well-behaved dogs are welcome in the towers, the walkways and the engine rooms. This stretch of the river is known as the Pool of London. For centuries, the busiest part of the port, where ships were so densely packed, you could supposedly cross the Thames just by stepping from deck to deck. Here you can see the Tower of London across the water, one of the oldest and most important buildings in the country. It dates back to William the Conqueror, who began construction shortly after 1066, making it nearly 1,000 years old. And it's been a fortress, a royal palace, and a prison at various points in its history. The tower is probably best known today for housing the crown jewels, the ceremonial regalia of the British royal family, including crowns, sceptres, and orbs used in coronations, some of which date back centuries. It's also home to the yeoman warders, better known as the beefeaters, the ceremonial guards who still live within the walls and lead tours of the grounds. It's also famous, or perhaps infamous, as a place of imprisonment and execution. Anne Boleyn, the second wife of King Henry VIII, was held and executed within its walls. And so were several other prominent figures across English history. The tower has a darker reputation than most buildings you'll see in London. Even during the Second World War, the tower played a role. It suffered bomb damage during the Blitz and was actually the site of the last execution carried out in the Tower of London of a German spy in 1941. It's a building that's been part of almost every chapter of English history. We have now arrived at the north side of the River Thames. This spot is one of the best in London for photographs. Looking back the way we came, you get an uninterrupted view of Tower Bridge with the Shard rising behind it on the south bank. It's also worth knowing that just behind the hotel here is St. Katherine Docks, central London's only working marina, where you can wander the quayside among historic boats and modern yachts. The lights on our right are modern electric replicas of the historic Windsor-style gas lamps from the Victorian era. The originals housed live gas flames and needed a lamplighter to ignite them. Up ahead is the Girl with a Dolphin, a bronze sculpture by WWII unveiled in 1973. He spent hours in the water with dolphins in California to study how they actually moved. The result is a piece that looks like it's caught mid-leap, almost weightless. I hope you enjoyed this tour of Tower Bridge. Please subscribe if you want to see more videos like this.